All right, hello everyone. So let's do a wrap up for the week, right? First of all, let's see what the trade hours for the day are. Remember, first of all, what we have to do, in fact, you know what, before we do anything, if you are in the members area, this video is for the members anyway, right? Go to the welcome page. I've put here the Cycle Edge report plus what it's good for, or how to use it properly. And here I've also put together a bunch of steps on how you can use market timing, the Cycle Edge report, and pretty much, have A plus setups, B, C setups, no trade days, and so on. So go over this, and I think you'll find it useful because I've done a statistical test on how we're doing. In fact, let me show you. Okay, so now if you take a look here, right, I've got setups here and I've done the mathematical data analysis on it for the percentage of moves. Okay, so the reason I've done that is actually we're setting it up because we're a fintech company. I'm designing the whole thing for a hedge fund as well. So here, this is one. I had two data analysis done on it. So one is for the 1.5 minimum price disbursement. So as you can see, we've got like quite a nice high success rate on the turn where we catch 1.5 to 2%. And this is the 2%, so they're pretty high, as you can see. Like this one's 90.5 and this one's 90.5 as well. And these are the type of classifications. So if we have like a high tension, critical, structural volatility, standard, low, aggregate, and so on. So that's a top total as well. So we've done like an analysis on it, and I've done it on two different cases. On both of them, as you can see, like we're getting good, getting good results. It's 94 on this one, and plus the 24-hour, plus or minus 24 hours. And on this one, it's 90%. So like above 90%. So that's good to kind of like have, obviously. So the stats are good. We just need to make sure we're using it correctly and nicely so that we can get some profit out of it. So this is why I've got this whole text here for you, so you can you can just know what the report is talking about. And I've also done a user manual for it, a user guide, which you can also find in the Cycle Edge report. If you come here into the Cycle Edge page, okay, here's the user guide. Okay, so just download it, and it's not very difficult as well. And this is a 5 steps how you can kind of like trade off it in a nice and easy way. It's on the same page as here. Now let's take a look at the weekly market hours. So from the 17th to the 21st, just take a screenshot and you can follow through with whatever you're trading, whatever asset you're trading, right? So this is Monday, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, so let's take a look at gold first. Now remember, we're also looking at the trade swing days for the asset. So let's just take a look at where we're at with that. Let's see, are we here? Where are we? Okay, so we should be here. There we go. This is the 11th. Let's just come down. And this is the weekly insight for 17 to 21. Okay, so we've got Monday 3 stars, Thursday 3 stars. So the first thing you got to do is read the weekly insight, as you know, right? And we've got a major thing happening on the 1st of September. Now this is important for us, okay, because it's cooking, like I said in the previous video, on Thursday, and we've got Sunday 16th of August. That's one setup pushing into Monday. And look at Wednesday here. Intraday cycle enters extreme range. Now this is for everything. You'll find this in the Cycle Edge report for whatever you're trading, like all of the 5 assets that we have. This Wednesday was a fix. Okay, so entering extreme range, and it's giving me an hour as well. Like, when am I going to enter these extreme moves? So I need to be ready before 6:15, obviously, right? My time, UTC +3, remember. And also we've got something happening on Saturday where you see an intraday cycle reaches its vertical extreme. What's that going to do? Well, that's going to pull Friday into it. This is why we have Sunday to Saturday. That's the whole week, because whatever happens on Sunday will push Monday into it. Whatever happens on Saturday will pull Friday into it. Okay. And that's basically it. So the rest of this report you don't really have to read because it's a bit of detail. But the new version of it, in terms of format, okay, the mathematical calculations are the same. It's coming out next month, and it's going to be much more shorter and to the point. So you'll just look at the weekly insight and go to the daily stuff. So let's get into the daily stuff. Now here we have Monday, and as you know, Monday is an important day, and for that we've got some certain alert windows for today, and you know, those alert windows plus some trading hours here, as you can see, and that's how we're gonna take a look at it. So if Monday is a trade day, the first thing I want to do is obviously take a look at the daily and see where we're at on a Monday. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let's get rid of some lines here so we can be a bit more clean. Okay, here we are. Now, this is what happened, right? As you can see, that's your Monday. So on Monday, market makes a high. This was a sell zone, and they sell off. And we had Thursday, and we're looking for volatility with extreme stuff happening, and that's your Wednesday. All right, and then Thursday. Now on Thursday I did say maybe we could push into Thursday, but with this happening, Thursday turned into a retracement pullback. All right, so right there, and then obviously this extreme move here also made that positive going into Friday. And on Friday you can see here we've got 80, and that is a price of 4638. If you followed it through, if you're following the TSM indicator with the pricing, you know where we're getting to. All right, so it's pretty close, as you can see. Now on Monday, let's start with Monday, right? As you can see, the market just opens up sideways, so nothing really happened on Monday, and this is Friday. So Friday, market making an up move. Monday we are sideways. Tuesday is coming back to test lows of Friday, and then Wednesday we have that big move. And on Wednesday you can see the system also giving you a heads up, right? This is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Look here, as you can see. All right, so we've got a red balloon there. Intraday cycle enters extreme range, emotional extreme. So once you find direction, you don't want to stand in this way. And look how beautiful that is. It is telling you that from the beginning of August, right? Because I printed this out on the 23rd of July. So knowing what's going to happen beforehand, you can also use the alert window time periods and the hours here to enter into any trade you want. And on Tuesday, as you can see, it's structurally volatile, but nothing's really happening. We've got 945 to 150 exhaustion blow off. Let's see how that panned out. 945 to 150 on a Tuesday. This is 945 here. Okay. 945, 1050 here. So the market, 1050, was it 150? Sorry. This is your 150 here. Okay. So the market is like going up, and then that's it. After that, we can actually draw that line there. Okay. The only thing the market did was go to the downside. And that's it. So Monday went sideways. Let's take a look at the Tuesday hours to see how that panned out. On Tuesday, what did we have? We had 2 and 5:20. So this is 2 o'clock here. All right, so market opens up 2 o'clock. We're going to the upside, and then we've got 5:20 here. Right, market making a low. From here, we've got downwards pressure, and then I've got 7:45, 8:45, 9:45. So 7:45, 8:45, 9:45. This is your 7:45, 8:45, and that's your 9:45 over here, right? So nothing really happening here. The market's just standing still, okay? And this is your exhaustion blow off. As you can see, market is not closing above that line. Okay, we're not like really breaking it. We'll stop sweeping it, but not breaking it. And then what happens? And then we've got this time period may be the start for the day's move and can continue to 9:50 to 10:50. So this is 9:50. So the move is really continued onwards into 10:50 is around here. All right. So market comes down into this low. In the mid zone, it's hard to trade. So what you want to do when you're using time is sell highs and buy lows. If you have a bias, if you know from before your direction, two things can happen here. That's an impulse wave. This is going sideways, like I said, okay? In one of the videos I said, okay, so this is like the market going sideways after the impulse wave. So what's going to really happen is we're either going to break up or down, okay, as you can see here. And the market really on Monday pushes up, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, no, it's from here, Monday pushing to the downside, still on the border. So this is coming from last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Tuesday we're down, Wednesday volatility, big push, okay, and it's giving you direction. Thursday to the upside, Friday coming to the TSM target zone, and that's it, okay. I was wanting to come down to close this gap here, which if it does do, we're still going to be buyers, all right. So if it comes back down, I'm just going to do this so we know where we're playing, all right. And that's it. As you can see, the market comes to the TSM target, it just stops there, okay, like it hit a brick wall. And that's basically it. So a little tricky, okay, a little tricky, but as you can see, we've got that nice flow from the beginning of the month into there, and now the sideways market. And when the market is sideways, you guys know what to do. You can buy the low at a trading hour, okay. So once you have your zone coming in from Friday, okay, so that's your Friday, market comes back, this is your, let's do it, this is your sideways market, right, what I drew, okay, from here into there. It's this is a 15-minute chart, so it's the same thing, okay. So the market made a low on Monday, that's your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday last week, okay, and the previous week before last, and this is our last week. So Monday starts here, right, going up 1, 2, 3, and we have a dump down, okay, after the 3 peaks on Monday and Tuesday. We have a dump down, impulse market continuing to push down sideways again, okay. Market comes down, retesting this zone. Let's check out the hours on Wednesday and Tuesday. Now on Tuesday we had those hours. On Wednesday, what did we have? Let's take a look. So we had 4:30 to 5:30. This is This is your 430. All right. So the market pushing up from here. Let me make that a little bigger. So where are we? We're at the lows at 430. All right. So 430 to 530 was the window of opportunity. And that's your window of opportunity. And then we had 1115. Should be a breakout. 1115. This is your break. All right. You see how we're breaking above the line here. Nice and easy. And then what did I say? I said 845. And guys, this is your 845 up here. All right. So market going all the way into there. All right. Those are the only hours. And you can also obviously, and you should, check your hours on the, whoops, here. All right, so Wednesday, let's check it out. Okay, just take a screenshot and I'm going to mark them in and you'll see how beautiful this works. So I've got 245 to, let me get rid of these as well. So I've got 245 to 420 exhaustion, all right? So this is Wednesday, 245 into 420. This is 245 here, all right? Going into 420, this is your 420 here, right? Exhaustion. And your trading hour is that one. So the market is really exhausted with what? Well, with all the selling, all right? And then the market moves up. Exhaustion is over. Your trading hour starts. That's beautiful. And then I've got momentum push continuation. Okay, so that's good. I've got momentum push going into 725, which is there. All right, 725 is there. And then I've got a trap-like reversal from 745 to 11. Well, this is your 745 until 11. 11 is here. Where's that trap-like reversal? Well, that is it. Trap-like reversal. Okay, so it's like trapping the sellers going back up. So that's good to know. And then I've got 3:40 to 5:10 p.m. trap-like reversal. So let's take a look at 3:40. Well, this is 3:40, guys. Okay, this is the 3:30 bar. This is a 15-minute chart. So look what's happening here. 3:40 to 10 past 5. It is just trapping everybody. Okay, bang, everybody. All the sellers are gone now. End of story. And then I've got from 10 past 5 to 9:35 momentum push continuation. So this was a trading hour. So I could extend that to 9:35 if I wanted, which is pretty much there. All right. So this is the zone where we would have said, okay, you know what, it's time to get out. So knowing those in advance is obviously the way to go. And in the trade hours for the day on Cycle Edge, it did give you 424 and 1106. Okay, so, and that's basically it, right? So 424 is about there. All right, so 424 is on there, and that's it. What else? That was Wednesday, and then we have Thursday and Friday. All right, so Thursday market going sideways. Let's see what the hours were for Thursday. Trade hours. So market does an impulse. Now it's retracing. We have trade hours might open with a panic attack. Well, this is not really a panic attack, but it is falling off. So I've got 550 to 655. This is 550 to 655. Okay, 655. Then I've got 1 to 220. I've got 1 to 220. This is your 220, and you see the market coming down. And then I've got 430 to 520. Guys, this is your 430 market going up into 520. So that's your market going and breaking to the upside. All right, so all you have to do is just match it to your technical analysis. And then I've got 7, and if there's direction, I could go to 820. Well, this is your 7 o'clock. So market goes up, and then 820 is just there. All right, so this is a zone where, if you would have either taken profit and gotten out if you're day trading, and that's it. And I've said also, and possible to 1035 to closing. So you would have either done that, or you would have said, you know what, I'm going to follow it to 1035 to closing. That's your 1035 to closing. Okay, so a little bit more up there. And on Friday, let's take a look at the Friday hours. So on Friday we have midnight, but midnight 12, half past 12 midnight. So that is the market being closed. Then I've got 625. This is 625. Okay, so market making the move at the 630 bar here. Okay, turning around, going into 1030. Let's see where 1030 is. That's your 1030, and then from 1030 onwards, again breaking to the upside, 345, 345 here, and 405, 405 going up in there. Prices should go to 1015. Prices should go to 1015. That's your 1015 there. All right, and that was a TSM target, as you know, for Friday. So you would have gotten out here thinking, okay, you know what, I'm not going up anymore. So if you follow that through with your technical analysis, you should be okay. How to do technical analysis? Just draw your lines. As you can see, all I have is lines. I just draw boxes, and I also made a video on how to draw boxes around a time. Okay, so if I have a time period, what's going to happen if I want to use that? If I have a direction, I just want to make sure that this is my box, okay, and that's the hour. So I want to know which way we're going to break, okay, and that's your hours, right? Because this is where it's all happening. And this is the box, right? That's your resistance, that's your support. And you see the box breaking out, pull back, and then it's going back up again, okay? So once you have that direction, you just follow it through. If you're going to scalp the market or follow it all the way with your technical analysis to your targets, that's all good. You can use boxing. I do it all the time. That's why you see a bunch of lines here, which are actually lines I've been using for years, which is previous day's high, low, today's opening. For me, today's opening is an important price. Previous day closing, it's important. So previous week's high, previous week's low. These are all levels where the market come back, retest, and look how it did that here, for example. That was the previous week's high. All right, so the market comes in, tests that. It's a trade hour, boom. All right. So having the hours just gives that additional confidence, and you have then you have heads up as to when to prepare for the market. So you're not just running around. Let's take a look at the others. Obviously, this is going to be a mother of a video if we do everything, but let's do this. I'm going to give you the euro dollar trade days. Okay, so that's Monday, Thursday, and we'll just do it quickly. Overall, the trading hours, as you know, is the same. So let's just check out the trading days, because sometimes they're different. So we have Monday and Thursday on this one. Remember, Wednesday is a volatile day for everyone. and the whole market. So that's your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's your Monday here. All right. So Monday market breaks out. Okay. You could have also, because initially this is a sell zone, right? So I said Monday can also be a sell day as well. And that's your Monday. They sold a little bit, and then that's a bang to the upside. I did say you could sell on this if it was the right time, if the price was right on Wednesday. But as you can see, time and price, if time and price didn't match, then there was nothing to talk about. And in fact, let's take a look at that. Let's go to Wednesday when the market was volatile. And, okay, where are you? Let me just do this. Here we are. Let's just do our intraday trading template. Here we go. So let's take a look at Wednesday, right? Because I did say, guys, if it comes back up and you want to sell again, it's doable, okay, which is fine. But what time did the market come to? Let's take a look. 11:45. 11:45. So this is 11:45 here. Not quite the top. And then we had 4:30 and 5:30 in the morning. So 4:30 is here, right? So 4:30 is right there, as you can see. Market taking off, and we're breaking the high. So it's important to follow the trade. Okay, so 4:30, and then you see we have a break to the upside. So once this breaks up, you can be certain it's going to test. You can be certain that it's going to test this line. Okay, so because that's like your Monday, and that's the high it made on a Monday. Comes up here and just breaks through. This is the trading hour. As you can see, it wasn't there. And so here we are, breaking clean, right? And that was a trade hour. So if you know your technical analysis, then you know, okay, you know what, maybe I'm not going to enter that, okay? But even if you did enter, let's say you sold here. All right, let's say you did. Sometimes we make those trades. So, all right, if you did sell here, okay, your stop loss should not have been any further than this zone here, just above the line, just in case. All right, normally if we have a turn, it shouldn't come back. Sometimes it just does a retest or fills in a gap on a smaller time frame, like here. So it wouldn't have been a big, massive loss. And then, as you can see, it broke out and went to that 8:45, didn't it? We had 8:45. 8:45 is there, right? 8:45 is there. So once the market breaks out, it went there. Thursday, as you can see, market just going sideways, snaking along. And Thursday, let's take a look if these hours went good for the euro dollar. So we had 1 o'clock to 2:20. Look, this is 1 o'clock. All right, so 1 o'clock. That's really good. And as you can see, 2:20. Market making a U-turn into where? Into 4:35.20 and 7 o'clock. This is your 7 o'clock. And then we had 4:30. Let's see where 4:30 is. 4:30 is there, so it's still pushing down into that support. And 5:20 should be right here. And that's your 5:20. So 5:20, then 7 o'clock, and then 8:20 is going to be right here. Okay, so from 8:20 onwards, as you can see, top, bottom, it makes sense because this is where they made support in Asia. So comes back, New York's here, just going back up again. And on Friday, let's take a look at the Friday hours, if it's making sense here. So we had the midnight, 12:30. Obviously, the market was closed from my side. So no, it wasn't 12:30 here, right? So 12:30 market going to the upside. And now we've got 6:25 in the morning. This is 6:25 in the morning. So this is sideways. There's nothing to do here. Why? Because you can buy a support, or if it's close to a support, you can sell a resistance, or if it's close to a resistance. But there's no reason to muck around here unless your technical analysis approves it. And then I've got 10:30. Let's see. This is 10:30. Again, nothing to do. Right? And then I've got 3:45. This is 3:45. So this is just way down. And then 3:45 to 4:05. So it's just there. So once again, not much. It's like in the middle of nowhere all day. From here, prices should go to closing. It just sizzles down, and that's your closing. So nothing really to do here at all. All right. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, we had Tuesday and then Thursday or Friday. And if we take a look, let me just bring that up. All right, so Tuesday, this is at the top of the weekly insight, Tuesday and Thursday, Friday. All right, so Tuesday was a 3-star day, Thursday, Friday, following through. And remember, we have an event on Saturday, so Saturday would have pulled Friday in. And if I take a look, this is euro dollar. So let's go to Bitcoin. And on Bitcoin as well. All right, so what do I have on the daily? Tuesday, right? So today's Saturday. That's Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday right here. Tuesday going into Friday there. Also on Bitcoin, look at the target we made on the weekly, right on the dot. And that was that 60 there, 78,924. 78,924 was the weekly target. 78,924 is just there, all right? It's just around there. All right, 78,924. You can see the market came down immediately and has not gone above it. Okay, so it's still in that zone. So that's a weekly target. Profits were taken, and we knew about that level from the beginning of the week simply because of our TSM targeting. Okay, right on there. So if you just put your hours, you'll be able to see what's going on, and you can just follow through. If you take a look at the indices with the SP 500, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, let's take a look. SP 500, let's see. Here we have Monday or Tuesday and Friday. So let's take a look with SP 500. We had Monday or Tuesday and Friday for SP 500. For Dow Jones, we had Tuesday, Wednesday. And NASDAQ, we had a Monday and a Thursday. So let's take a look. This is SP 500. This is your Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. All right, so Monday, Tuesday, selling off, coming all the way into Friday. And Friday, market buying, logical. Okay, so that's all we have to do. The hours, just slap them in as usual. Let's take a look at Dow Jones. With the Dow Jones, it was Tuesday and Wednesday. But with the indices, I always say, take a look at common days because they move together. So with the Dow Jones, you would have looked at Monday and Tuesday because Tuesday was a common day for SP 500 and Dow Jones. And Monday was a common day for both NASDAQ and SP 500. So this is Dow Jones. As you can see, the Dow, let's see where we are, has also come down. So that was Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So that's your Wednesday. All right, that's your Wednesday, raising its head up and then selling off. Now from here, I did say you could buy it as well. All right, why? Because we're low. So market did buy a little bit and then sold off into Friday. Friday, SP 500 trade day, market buying 37.5. Okay, if you use the impulse wave, I'm just going to get rid of that so we don't have too many lines. Here we are. And it's the same thing over and over again. Same thing. We still looks like I have a little bit of room to come down here. So let's take a look at NASDAQ and call it a wrap up. We had Monday and Thursday for this. Let's do that. All right, so that's your Monday. All right, so if you sold Monday, you did well. And then that's going all the way into Thursday to the target. All right, so remember our gaps, right? So that's all good. Monday coming into Thursday. So just, use the cycle edge report. Whatever you're trading is good. As you know, we only have 5 assets at the Global Trader Club with the cycle edge report, but I do also make custom reports. If you want a custom report for a specific asset, it's also doable. Get in touch if you're interested in anything like that. Have a good weekend.